you. I'm from Stevens Institute of Technology. People don't know where it is. It is in New Jersey. We're across the river from Manhattan, so next to New York City. I'm going to first briefly introduce the environmental monitoring task by mobile robots, and then I will focus on the ocean plume detection and tracking use autonomous mobile robotics platforms that we have a project, and I'd like to share the experience with the audience. We developed the cooperative multi-robot group tracking algorithm, and we did a robotic simulations and bring it to a real coastal environment to do the field testing. I'll show some field testing videos, and then we'll show the post-experimental data analysis and what we found. And finally, I'll conclude with some future challenges. So it's very nice to hear all the societal, legal, ethic implication on the robotics, and now I'm really back to the technical aspects of the robotics for environmental monitoring. Robotic systems have been used as data gathering tools to better understand the planet, the environment, and its process. We have seen successful applications like the forest fire simulations, and these are all the existing work. The picture shows existing work in the robotic communities that use robot sensor networks to do the sampling, survey in the ocean or lake water environment, and with glider by the robotics company that they can do consistent environmental monitoring, like they can operate for months on the ocean, monitor the water. After a series of natural disasters and environmentally harmful incidents, that robotic monitoring techniques becomes increasingly important. So as an example, I'll ask you remember the 2010 the BP Deepwater Horizon oil spill, particular for people in this region, and 7 years from that date, still the extent of the damage is still being studied. So the disaster lasted 87 days with about 171 million gallons of oil had leaked into Gulf of Mexico. And it contaminated 1,010 miles of coastline, 1,200 miles of deep ocean floor, and 68,000 square miles of surface water. And it caused huge ecological damages and economic losses. So these are the data of the damages from a 2005 report by NRDC. It brings a big challenge to the robotics and ocean engineering communities, how to estimate the extent of the underwater plume using the robotics platform, and this challenge will continue to grow as energy production continues to happen in deep water. And this picture was by the researchers. They took the IGT samplers to the on a robot platform in the deep water oil spill. It's a sample for further investment. Okay, so due to the special extent of the tasks, we have to use multi-robotic systems, and distributed operative control becomes important techniques in such applications. Our group was fortunate to get supported by the National Science Foundation to conduct a 3-year project in collaboration with University of Hawaii to develop the multi-robot it's worth mentioning that during the past decade or two, there has been rapid development in the distributed method to solve the corporate control of multi-agent systems, such as the distributed consensus, the formation control. There's a lot of published papers in robotic control community, but you know, it has to say that its real-world applications is lagging behind, or there's a gap on it. So that's one of our goals in this project. So I will share from our development to the experimental testing of our project. I'll be brief on the algorithm part. So the fundamental model that governs the process in the oceanographic area is of the flow distribution is by this partial differential equations. It's called the advection diffusion equations, and see the concentration. So the concentration propagate along the advection direction that is follow the main flow. And diffusion is that the flow will go from high concentration to the low concentration. And it's a partial differential equation. We know that it's computationally expensive to solve, so you cannot really solve it using online to drive your robot. So the task is to deploy the multi-robots to track the flow front, which is dynamically propagating. And in the multi-robot team, we want to apply a distributed scheme that is only use the nearest neighbor communication, not all, not centralized control. So as I said, so it's computationally expensive. There has been studies such as level curve tracking and other methods, but there's a lot of challenges. Basically, it's a spatial and temporal complex problem. You want to use a model, but you can not always rely on the model because all the complexity in this model doesn't capture the complicated aspects in the real ocean environment. We formulate our control problems and we use a model. This is the kinematic model of the MS surface vessel that is common to the non-harmonic kinematic constraints. And the flow model, as I said, is a partial differential equation, advection diffusion equation. And we define the flow front for the robot track is that set C xt equal to C0. That is the flow front is defined as by a constant concentration value. And this set is dynamically propagating. We assume the robot can localize itself, and the robot has sensors, including the Doppler that can measure the flow velocity, and it can have the chemical sensors that can measure the concentration value of the flow and the robot position. And we can onboard estimate the concentration gradient and the divergence of the gradient. So we developed a single robot flow tracking algorithm based on estimation and control framework. Basically, based on the robot's onboard sensor measurement and the model, we developed observer to estimate where the flow front is. And based on estimated flow front, we developed the robot trajectory tracking to track the estimated flow front. And we analytically derive this controller, and I'll show MATLAB simulations that red circle is a robot and the dark black circle is a flow front. And you can see the front and the cathodic. And this is assumption that robot move faster than the plume propagation, which is true. So of course we use a perfect model, right? So it's not surprising if we can prove it and the simulation shows it works. And we extend that to the cooperative plume tracking in the sense that the robot receives the concentration measurement of its neighbors and the position of neighbors. They form formation, and they use the neighbors information in both observer and controller. So the MATLAB simulation is that we have like 20 or 30 robots, and first one, last one, where we anchor robot, and then between them, the robot will form a formation and spread equally across the whole front. So we prove it using the control theory-based method. And before we bring it to the field, we test it in the robot simulator. This simulator of field robotics lab vehicle software comes with a robot platform, the MS surface vessels platform that my collaborator at Hawaii developed. So it has the simulation mode and control mode. So in simulation mode, you debug all of the tested, and then it has a control mode. So in real field, you switch to the control mode that it can directly work in the field. It's similar to ROS, use LCM library for inter-process communications. One big problem is that when we develop the algorithm, we use a perfect flow model, but we know that the flow model is not perfect, doesn't consider all of the uncertainties in the real world. So in ocean graphics communities, there's another type of model like Lagrange model. So on the right, so this is a Gaussian model we use for the MATLAB simulation, and this is Lagrange model that which is a particle-based model that you can see there's a lot of uncertainties. It's not smooth, right? So we implement that model in the simulator, and you can see the concentration measurement is really noisy. It's the intermittency of the plume. That really is very important to us. So we tested that because our developed algorithm is a feedback type of control, so it can tolerate some noises, so it works in the simulator. After that, my student and I were very excited to bring it to Hawaii and bring the software to Hawaii and test it in the real environment. So we choose Mankai Research Pair in Hawaii, which is 17 miles away from Honolulu. This USB MS surface vessel platform is developed by my collaborator in Hawaii. He's a mechanical engineer, and they use this vehicle for the Coast Guard ocean survey mapping task before. So the robot is equipped with GPS for self-localization. It can be operated in both teleoperating mode and fully autonomous mode. It also has a fluorometer. You can see the black, the big black. It's inserted in the water. It measures the concentration of the plume. And the plume we use pink dye, the rosin dye plume, which is environmental friendly, commonly used for such tests. So next, I'm going to show a 3-minute video of the experiment. So we did the experiments in the August 2015. So this is the site, and it's very beautiful there in the summer, 80 degrees. And we set up a shore station that monitor the robot operation. And the students did a lot of heavy liftings. And this is preparation for the bloom source. We use flow control pump to pump the source on the surface of the water. And this is assembling the vehicle. Every morning we spend 2 hours to assemble it before it put into the water. And it's very heavy, you know, we have to use a machine to lower it down. Be careful on that. We had all the problems, circuit problems, you know, it gets wind and the battery gets in the water, all those complexities. Yeah, and this is the last part. That we want to have a camera, and now Zoom can do better than this one. So this is a real radio, and this is the real speed that the vehicle operates in the water. We tested the vehicle's control before the experiments. In May, we bring to water. I mean, my collaborator bring to water. So in the August test, after we make sure the vehicle was fine, we particularly test with the fluke. So the last one is the team. We have 4 students and 2 faculties on the team. Okay. So after 2 weeks of field testing, we got a lot of data. For the past 1.5 years, we spent a lot of time to look at the data and try to understand what the data tells us, right? So there are 2 particular objectives of our post-experiment study. And one is how well the algorithm, control algorithm works. And the second is a bloom. So this is what we can learn from the real world bloom, how much difference with the model bloom, right? So we organized the 2 data sets. One is robot field operating data. We record all the data like localization and all the position sensing data. And the second set of data is bloom survey data. We measure the time series using the stationary underwater, surface vehicle, and also we drive the robot along the plume front and measure the concentration profile, also cross-sectional survey. So our post-experimental tasks include the development of visualization tools to better understand the algorithm, which part works, which doesn't work. And also, the last 2 tasks are extremely take time. We didn't expect that we take so much time on the plume, but one difficulty that your controller doesn't work is you don't understand what's the real complication of the real plume. So I'll talk particularly this 2 part. I'll share some of the results. That's the scientific question we want to answer. So this is plume survey mission. Okay, it is running. So it's 8 times actual speed. There's a boat further away. There's the person trying to deploy the source. And this is the robot. Sometimes it's teleoperated, sometimes it's autonomous. And here, on top of it is visualization tools. The student developed that superposition on the video so that we can better understand our algorithm. And the visualization was drawn by the real client data. You can see that whenever the robot passed, you can draw the concentration map. And we have two robots. One is the red one, and the yellow one, and this is the other one. Drive it to here. And from this data, you can really see the real plot that have patches, that meandering. It's it's really not easily to be reproduced by any simulation models. Depends on the weather condition, the wind, it changes directions, and flow changes directions. 20 minutes. Usually we do the flow like in half an hour, 20 minutes. You can see this, and after the half an hour, it goes out of the monitoring area, so we can stop it. And we particularly analyze the plume front concentration profile that we drive the robot along the plume front. These are two sets of data. And we also drive a cross section across the plume area. We can see that the plume front concentration, that's visually we can see the pink boundary. The plume front concentration profile is much more noisy than the cross section, which means that it's much difficult to track the front. We also found out, in most existing theoretical work, you assume there's existence of the fixed value concentration curve, which is too strong. It doesn't exist such continuous smooth curve. We also did summary statistics, quantitative. We analyze the data, the plume survey data. One benefit for the quantitative analysis is that we can use the quantitative data to calibrate a simulation model and estimate some parameters so that we can use it to develop a plume that with empirically derived characteristics. So that's what we did, and still then developed the raw plume simulator. So next time when we develop anybody wants to validate their algorithm in real ocean environment, they don't need to go through the expensive, very hard field testing. That's on the plume side. On the control side, I'm going to show a brief review of the leader-follower mission, which is more successful than other part of the controls. So this is 5 times faster than the actual speed. The first robot is teleoperated, and the second follower robot is totally autonomously. Sometimes it's lost in the circle, but it can come back and follow the first one. So some turns it's a little hard, it can bigger, but basically it can follow. These are the curves. These are the curves on the performance of leader follower. And autonomous leader follower is successful, and the level curve tracking is successful in the sense that if we set a constant level curve value, then the robot can track it. But the plume front tracking was not completely successful. Some parts working, some parts didn't work, partially because the assumption we used in developing the theoretical work is too strong, and partially because we didn't have enough time to test it. This is very in the field testings. We've been there in Hawaii 2 weeks, but with the limited resources and manpower, we have to stop at a certain point before we can really want to debug our algorithm, do more tests. We have to modify the algorithm, to have more to accommodate more uncertainty, to be more robust, but it's hard to do it on site. So we come back and decided to do the simulator, kind of develop simulator. That it's surprising to us. There are many efforts spent before in this, but many the ocean monitoring tasks, they use averaged flow characteristics. That's not good for robotic people. When you test, you need instantaneous the fine scale characteristics that not many literature can find. That's why we have to use the data, develop our own, and hopefully this will be open source to the robotic communities to develop more advanced techniques. Okay, so I want to spend a few minutes on the conclusion. So robotic system plays an increasing role in the scientific data collection to advance the knowledge of our environment and its monitoring. From my personal experience, we developed this cooperative autonomous robotic techniques for ocean bloom tracking. As I said, this 3-year project, and we feel that at last, only after we did a few experiments, we can understand the whole scope of complexity. The research is continuing, and our group's immediate future research, including use some adaptive control method to identify the bloom model parameters from the collected robot sensor networks, and develop more robust controllers. And some idea is that we have combined the model-based method with behavior-based method. It is known in the ocean robotics people that purely gradient-based method won't work because the gradient is noisy, and it's so our theoretical work is compensation on the gradient information. We add the mode of the attention diffusion estimation of that, but that's still not enough. We have to carefully study such. So we're still doing some control work. And talking about the future impact of this field, there are a lot of challenges, right? So these are a few that particularly I think is important for the robotics community. We want to use the robot platform to understand the environment, but because due to the limitation of our understanding of the environment, you don't have a perfect model, then how do you control your robot to do what you want them to do, like service or tracking? That's caused a difficulty in the controller design. And all the real world situations brings the complexity. I think we need a better sensing technology, such as adaptive sampling, the floor sweeping type of coverage. People found it's not very efficient. So the adaptive sampling sensing technology is important. Also, because of